This is unthinkable build. India is building a dam across the sea. Is that more like a bridge? I mean, a dam is a dam, but well, I guess I'll check it out. I know nothing about this. I know this was recommended to me a little while ago, but I'm fascinated to hear. It's probably going to be something completely different, just clickbait. Maybe, or it's probably something fascinating.
For 50 years, India has been trying to do something no country has ever attempted at this scale. Dam an entire Gulf of the ocean. In the Gulf of Kambut, off the coast of Gujarat, India plans to build a 60-kilometer dam straight across the sea, sealing off a massive arm of the Arabian Sea and converting it into the largest freshwater reservoir on Earth. It will cost over $14 billion, and it faces one of the most hostile marine environments on the planet. A gulf where the sea rises and falls by up to 11 meters twice a day. The idea was first proposed in 1975. For half a century, it stayed on paper. Too ambitious, too expensive, too difficult. Then in May 2026, during a visit to the Netherlands, Prime Minister Modi signed an agreement that may finally turn this 50-year-old dream into concrete and steel. The project is known as Kalpasar. This is the story of the most ambitious water project India has ever conceived, and why it took the country that mastered the sea to help India attempt it. Please take a moment to subscribe and like the video. It really helps the channel. Gujarat has a water crisis built into its geography. The state's Saurashtra region, a peninsula jutting into the Arabian Sea, is chronically drought-prone. Limited rivers, erratic monsoons, no reliable large-scale freshwater source. For decades, farmers have depended on unpredictable rainfall and depleting groundwater, drilling wells deeper as the water table falls. Meanwhile, just across the Gulf of Kambut, major rivers, the Narmada, Mahi, Sabarmati, Dudar, empty enormous volumes of freshwater directly into the sea, where it mixes with salt water and is lost. The logic of Kalpasar is simple. Capture that freshwater before it reaches the sea. By building a dam across the Gulf, India would trap the river runoff on the landward side. Over time, the trapped freshwater would...
The thing is, I know dams now, they can design them in a way where, like, the fish that migrate through, like salmon and things like that, that's why so many people are against dams in the United States, because it messes with the ecosystem of the fish that need to go out to the main ocean. The thing is, you can design dams, but it depends on the type of ecosystem. I know salmon is very common for migrating through rivers to sea as they grow into adulthood. I'm curious on exactly if it will have that capability and if there are other creatures that need to be let out. Are there other fish? Are there other things? Because I don't know about the ecosystem of the rivers and what gets flushed out, other than maybe there should be a pollution gate there where anything thrown into the rivers gets caught by the dams, so that way they can actually dispose of it. I mean, that's me being mean. Not everyone pollutes, but it is some communities. But yeah, everyone pollutes everywhere. But yeah, you always have to take that into account. But it's a massive thing to undertake. Absolutely, it would be fascinating to watch happen. Would be absolutely fascinating. I wonder how many years it would take them. How would they plan on going about it? Would they start from top down? Would they segment off sections where they force the water to go? Like, I don't know. I'm not an architect. I'm not the building engineer. I don't know how to deal with, like, this would be a mathematical problem. A wall being able to hold back all that water. Insane. Absolutely insane. It's like a mathematician's dream right there.
Push out the salt water, creating a reservoir roughly 2,000 square kilometers in area, holding nearly 8 billion cubic meters of water. That water would irrigate over 1 million hectares of farmland, supply drinking water to drought-prone regions, and support industry. In some versions of the plan, it would also generate renewable energy and carry a road link that cuts the travel distance between Saurashtra and South Gujarat from 240 kilometers to just 60. One dam, water security, power, and connectivity, all at once. But the Gulf of Kambut is one of the most difficult places on Earth to build anything.
Yeah,
the Gulf is funnel-shaped, wide at its southern opening, roughly 180 kilometers across, narrowing sharply toward the north. As the ocean pushes into the narrowing Gulf, the water has nowhere to go but up. The result is one of the highest tidal ranges in the world, the sea rising and falling by as much as 11 meters between high and low tide. Most coastlines experience tidal ranges of 1 to 3 meters. Kalpasar's dam would have to withstand forces several times more powerful than almost any marine structure ever built. Those tides generate ferocious currents. Twice a day, enormous volumes of water rush in and out at high speed, carrying massive loads of silt. And the Gulf sits in a seismically active zone. The foundations of a 60-kilometer dam would have to survive earthquakes while resting on constantly shifting marine sediment. This combination, extreme tides, violent currents, heavy sediment, seismic risk, is exactly why the project sat on paper for 50 years. And Gujarat knows exactly what a dam failure looks like. In 1979, the Machchu 2 Dam in Gujarat's Morbi district collapsed after extreme monsoon flooding. Within 20 minutes, a wall of water tore through the town downstream. Death toll estimates range from 1,800 to 25,000. The Guinness Book of Records listed it as the deadliest dam burst in history. The comparison isn't direct. Kalpasar is a very different type of structure, but the Morbi disaster illustrates what happens when major water infrastructure fails in Gujarat. And Kalpasar would hold back not a river, but an arm of the sea. That is where the Netherlands comes in. No country understands holding back the sea better than the Netherlands. Much of the country sits below sea level. For centuries, the Dutch have survived by building dikes and barriers. Their most famous achievement is the Afsluit dike, a 32-kilometer dam completed in 1932 that sealed off an arm of the North Sea and converted it into a freshwater lake. The parallel to Kalpasar is almost exact. Seal off a saltwater bay, convert it to freshwater, protect the land behind it. The Dutch did it nearly a century ago. But Kalpasar is roughly twice the length of the Afsluit dike, with dramatically higher tides in a seismic zone. And it faces one threat the Dutch never designed for: tropical cyclones. The Zuiderzee sits in the calm North Sea. The Gulf of Kambat lies in the path of Arabian Sea cyclones that can generate storm surges on top of already extreme tides. It is the Afsluit dike concept scaled up and dropped into a far more violent and
This would be fascinating to see built. I'm so happy well, I'm pretty sure every generation says something like this. I'm so happy I'm alive in the time I am to see such marvels be built. It's so easy to get bogged down in the minutia of the annoying, of the like politics, realizing that politics is just a crap show and it brings no joy to nobody. But look beyond that. Stop focusing on what you can't control. All you can do is vote, if you actually are allowed to vote. If you're like, my state, I have no say, but I still vote, even though my vote means nothing. But the thing is, it's like you still get to see like some beautiful things being built. These things that just seem next to impossible being attempted. Like, will this ever take place? Who knows? Who knows? But it seems like they're working towards it. They're planning on it. They're moving forward with it. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. But they'd probably need to figure out ways of, if there's a fault if there's a crack, how would you repair it? What kind of system would you have in place? Would you, well, yeah, you just always need, are you going to have a double layered dam structure where you have to have 2 layers just in case if something happens to one, you're able to correct it in the time as it leaks in through one side or the other. They both break, you're going to end up having the same kind of tragedy that happened in Japan when their nuclear silo went. They had the tsunami, they had the earthquake, they had like all their fail safes. All 3 of their fail safes failed like within minutes of each other, due to earthquake, due to water damage, and so the whole thing, and then the human error. So everything fell apart. You always need to plan ahead. And now that land is still not livable in Japan. The same thing you're going to have plan it out. Do you build a 3 dam structure? Is that how it goes? It just seems very far-fetched, but it's fascinating to think about that. It seems like fiction becoming reality. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating to see this kind of stuff. And I would love to see it. Like when I traveled to India, I'd see how much stuff got done with like the freeways, or what are they called in India? They're not highways. Whatever, like the throughways, whatever they're called. Seeing them get built, like one time I'm there, the first time I'm there, I just see like a few spots here and there. The next time, people are driving on them already. They get off and start using dirt paths as they continue the next section. But it's getting done.
environment. In May 2026, during Modi's visit to the Netherlands, the 2 countries signed a letter of intent for technical cooperation on Kalpasar. Dutch expertise in coastal engineering and tidal barriers would be applied to India's most ambitious water project. The detailed project report reached its finalization stage in late 2025. In May 2026, Gujarat formally sought environmental clearance, listing an updated cost of 1.33 lakh crore rupees, roughly $14 billion. After 50 years, Kalpasar was finally moving from concept toward construction. But moving toward construction is not the same as building. Sealing off the Gulf would fundamentally alter one of India's most productive marine ecosystems. The Gulf supports significant fisheries. Damming it would change salinity, block fish migration, and transform the entire coastal environment. Review committees have already deferred earlier versions, demanding further study. There is also a problem hidden in the water. The rivers feeding the reservoir, the Sabarmati, the Mahi, are among the most industrially polluted in India. Trapping that water does not make it clean. And as freshwater pushes saltwater out, that displaced...
What did I say about the pollution? There would have to be a way of it catching it and cleaning it as it comes near the end. Because one of the biggest problems is all that trash is going into the ocean. I mean, my wife went to Mumbai when she was going for her interview at the embassy. And she had a picture of the water, and I was just like, that's disgusting. The entire ocean was brown. Just random stuff just floating in the water. It was so disgusting. I'm like, that place could be so beautiful. Here my wife is standing right outside the Taj Hotel, because she went there to eat, as one does when they go to Mumbai. And she got that pic, and I'm just like, that just destroys the whole site. That would be such a beautiful ocean if it was just clean. So yeah, I mean, damming it up will actually clean the ocean a bit. Let's be honest. It would make the sea, their freshwater sea look absolutely terrible, but the oceans would look cleaner.
Brine has to go somewhere. Discharging it back into the Arabian Sea risks creating hypersaline dead zones where marine life cannot survive. The Dutch mastered holding back water. Holding back pollution is a different problem entirely. There is also a quieter strategic logic. China controls the headwaters of major rivers feeding India's north. Rivers India cannot control. Kalpasar is different. It creates an enormous freshwater reserve entirely within India's own territory. In an era where upstream nations increasingly treat water as leverage, a self-contained reserve carries strategic value beyond Gujarat's farms. And then there is cost and time. The 2022 estimate was 1 lakh crore rupees. By 2026, it had risen to 1.33 lakh crore rupees. Gujarat says the project would be built within 8 years of approval. Independent estimates suggest 15 years, with completion no earlier than the mid-2030s. India's large projects, like Vizhinjam Port, delayed 5 years, routinely slip. A first-of-its-kind ocean dam may slip further still. Right now, the Gulf of Khambhat is open sea. Twice a day, the tide rushes in and out, rising and falling by up to 11 meters across a gulf that has never been crossed by anything close to what India now plans to build. If Kalpasar is completed, it will be one of the largest marine engineering projects in human history. A 60-kilometer barrier holding back the ocean, creating the largest...
I mean, it's a good thing all the engineers come from India. I'm just saying. They're going to have to bring them back to India in order to complete the job, but I'm just saying, it's a good thing they all come from India.
Freshwater reservoir on Earth, transforming the water security of an entire region. If it is not, it will remain what it has been for 50 years. The most ambitious water project India ever imagined, but could never quite build. The Dutch sealed off their sea in 1932 and never looked back. India is now attempting the same feat at twice the scale, against far greater odds. The rivers are still flowing into the Gulf, the tide is still rising and falling, and after 50 years of waiting, India is finally deciding whether it can hold back the...
Well, that ended abruptly. Whether it can hold back the tide, I'm assuming. I'm assuming that's where it ended. Hold back the tide. Yeah, that was enjoyable. I mean, it's so fascinating to see something like that. I would love to see it. I mean, if they broke ground, I would love to travel there to at least see part of it. And then I'd probably go back again in another year, see how much was done. I'm pretty sure there would be a YouTuber that makes his career on like documenting the process, using drone footage flying over. I mean, that would be fascinating to watch. I mean, I'd be watching the footage like every day. Like, what happened today? What happened today? Because being at the core of that, it just feels like you're a part of something. It just feels like you're a part of something. Modi is focusing it on international face, and India is slowly suffering internationally. I hope it gets better. I guess. I could care less about like international appeal. I don't think India should care about that. I think India should just focus on its own borders and then not care about the nonsense being spread everywhere, except making the noise go away by putting more positive spins on like what's in India. The thing is, like, people will always target the pollution. We'll always target the pollution, and it will only get worse when the dam starts getting built and the pollution problem isn't solved. Because if the pollution problem isn't solved, you're going to end up with a disgusting looking freshwater lake that is nothing but sewage that nobody can utilize. But who knows? Maybe just starting the dam and then seeing how bad that freshwater lake becomes will push for change in that the civil sense of, you know what, we need to have better waste management in those areas that are very bad and throw it all in the water. So yeah, who knows? Who knows? One thing can start a domino effect that can affect others. Maybe the dam will be it. Maybe the dam will absolutely be it, but who knows?
You guys got a video?
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait like that.